And that is the word Maura Healey and her counterpart, Attorney General Andrea Campbell, decided to use in almost identical tone-deaf speeches to address the 90th RTT class at yesterday's graduation ceremony. And while that was going on, a protest was happening outside, led by some members of Enrique Delgado Garcia's family and his friends.
Good afternoon. The graduation ceremony is happening right now inside the DCU Center. But here outside, as you said, there is a protest happening. We count about 70 people here. Trooper Enrique Delgado Garcia was a member of the 90th Recruit Training Troop. He died last month following a boxing exercise at the State Police Academy in New Braintree. An independent investigation is underway, as is an internal investigation. Moments ago, we heard from one of Trooper Delgado Garcia's cousins.
I want justice. I want to see the person responsible for it. You know, to me personally, I think this graduation shouldn't be happening with the investigation still going on. You know what I mean? Because it's not right.
I couldn't agree with you more. Hello, 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 and welcome to Alexasrewm, where we are not lawyers, we are not medical professionals, we are not law enforcement, we are just people. People who have opinions about all things going on in the true crime community, including this clown show yesterday at the 90th RTT class graduation ceremony. Let's take a look now, shall we?
Solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States. Congratulations, Trooper.
Such as free speech, right? Your First Amendment right? The first one, guys. Does Sergeant Bukwacki need to go over his oath again? I think he might need a little bit of a refresher there, Maura.
Ready? Oh!
Ladies and gentlemen.
Is she clapping for them or clapping for herself? I wonder. I have questions.
The members of the 90th Recruit Training Troop are no longer trainees. They are now troopers.
And again, just going back to Enrique's cousin's point, like, this creepy and disgusting part of all of this is he's absolutely right. There is literally an open investigation going on, meaning that one of these potential recruits, now I'm not saying that could have been one of the 99 that dropped out that we reported on in my last video. If you haven't checked that one out, I will link it at the very end of this video, or you can clickety-click at the top. I think it's the top right corner right now, if I line things up minute to minute. But he brings up a good point, because one of those recruits could very well be who is now a state trooper and essentially has a license to kill, is a state trooper, right? So he gets his diploma, and I don't know, because we don't know anything. There has been no transparency, as we will come to find out later on from Andrea Campbell, who gives a very snide remark, in my opinion, addressing all the social media trolls about the investigation going on into Enrique's death. There could be multiple people who were involved, meaning multiple people who pummeled him, right? There could have been, we just don't know. But at the very least, these are 185 witnesses. 185 witnesses to the crime. And instructors and staff that are seated, who get thanks and praise and not, oh yeah, we're gonna get into all of that. But how crazy is that? An open investigation, but they get to continue on business as usual? Wouldn't you think you would suspend? Unaliving someone is a pretty big deal, I would think, right? Enough to, I don't know, take away somebody's ability to graduate from the RTT. I don't know. That's just what I would assume, right? But no, you get rewarded when you unalive other officers. You get rewarded. Brian Albert.
Please be seated. Please welcome the Governor of Massachusetts, Maura Healey.
Hooray! Yes! Good afternoon. And let me say once again, congratulations to our class of 185 new Massachusetts State Police troopers.
Don't forget about the 99 who dropped out the other day, Maura. I'm on to you.
I look around and I see this arena full of people who are so proud of each and every one of you. And I want you to know that today, as I stand here, there are people all around this great state who are grateful to you for the decision that you have made to protect and serve.
I mean, this reaction tells you everything, because you know somebody made a comment or something. But I beg to disagree with you there, Maura. There's about 70 people outside right now currently protesting this exact graduation ceremony, and the participants who are literally witnesses in an open investigation into one of your recruits' death. Not to mention all the people online in the country who are in the world, actually, let's be real, in the world, who are literally watching Massachusetts and their police make god-dang fools of themselves. In like slow motion, it looks like a car accident that you just can't stop watching. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe the people inside this little arena, but there were a lot of empty chairs in there. Let's make no mistake about that. But what about the 70 people outside who are not so happy, Maura? What about Enrique Delgado Garcia's family and his friends who are not so happy? What about them?
Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, Attorney General Campbell, Secretary Reedy, Undersecretary Kwan, Colonel Noble, our new Massachusetts State Police Superintendent, Lieutenant Colonel Pinkham, and members of the command staff, state legislative leaders, Chair Gonzalez, Representatives Paulino, McGonigal, DeCoste, Marcy, McKenna, Turco.
Wasn't McGonagall a professor in Harry Potter? Hold on, I need to look this up. Oh my gosh, yes! And it was played by... She was played by the great late Maggie Smith. Oh, that hurts my heart so much. And I've been meaning to watch the last... oh my gosh, it just went out of my brain. Downton Abbey. Yes, the Downton Abbey movie. Oh, so sad. Maggie Smith is the GOAT. Anyways, back to this clown show.
District attorneys, Early, Galliboy, Sullivan, federal and local law enforcement leaders who are here today, visiting.
Are you forgetting a name, Maura? Did you forget your boy in Norfolk County? Mr. Meatball, are you no longer ordering meatballs with your spaghetti? Oh boy. I guess we know where he stands.
State police leaders, former members of the Massachusetts State Police, our military veterans service members, clergy, community members, and most of all, family members of these incredible young men and women. It's an honor to be with you today.
Who were responsible for the unaliving of one of their own, or at least witnesses to.
This community is gathered to honor all of you, our new troopers, and to celebrate your graduation. Because today is not only an outstanding milestone and achievement in your lives, it's also a really important day for our state. Today, because of your hard work, and it is really hard work what you have done, and not many people.
It is really hard work. Let me quack and tell you the amount of overtime shifts, how you are going to have to get your hands dirty solving the Great Ducky Brigade. My goodness! Lots of hard work. Lots of overtime. You don't even know the half of it.
People can do it, but you did it. Because of your hard work and perseverance, and because of the oath that you just swore to uphold. Today, because of that, we strengthen Massachusetts. We strengthen our ability to protect one another, to protect the people of Massachusetts.
All right, well, now you lost me. Yes, they are definitely good at protecting one another. That second part, though.
From harm. We strengthen our ability to respond to whatever challenges the people of this great state will face. We enhance the safety and security that allows all of what is possible in this state and in this country. It is because of all of you and those you will serve alongside. Because of all of you, our schools are able to teach, our scientists are able to find cures, our businesses are able to grow, our communities are able to thrive.
Our ducks are able to quack.
We reaffirm today our collective commitment to the rule of law and to enforcing it with fairness, justice, and compassion. In Massachusetts,
Except if your name is Aiden Carney, except if your name is, I don't know, pick any one of the innocent Massachusetts state citizens who have been slapped with baseless witness intimidation charges. The Canton Nine. Let's not forget about them.
I am proud of the fact that we are consistently rated among the safest, if not the safest state in the nation. We're also
Maura. That is quite the bold claim. That is quite the bold claim you made there. I mean, maybe, yeah, sure, safe from rubber ducks. Absolutely. You guys are number one in that department. But I don't think if your name is Sandra Birchmore, if your name is Officer John O'Keefe, if your name is Karen Reed, Aiden Carney, Enrique Delgado Garcia, I don't think any one of them felt all that safe / feel all that safe under the care of the great Massachusetts State Police.
also ranked at the top for the quality of life. That doesn't just happen. It happens because of people like you. Thanks to the men and women of law enforcement, led by our Massachusetts State Police. And you now carry this proud tradition into the future. Today, through your decision to serve,
I'm sorry, I have to cut to a clip really quick. 1 second. If you know, you know.
We are a safer and stronger Commonwealth. So I want to say from the bottom of my heart to each and every one of you who made the decision, and it's a big decision. Some of you left careers, some of you left other forms of public service. You all had to leave your families and so much behind these last many months. But I am so grateful to all of you for stepping up, for answering the call, for taking on the assignment.
You know, she's using that reference of assignment, like I understood the assignment from that trendy TikTok song. She's like, I learned that one from my Gen Z intern who probably wrote this speech for her. But if I were a parent and my child was in the MSP or was considering being in the MSP Academy, I would literally say, I've been meaning to use this prop. Hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. Do not answer that call. Go back. Go back to any other job. You know what? You want to be a state trooper? I get it. There are other states. There are plenty of other states. Plenty of other departments that probably won't leave you beaten to death when you leave the academy. Like, that would be my biggest fear if I learned about this and my kid was
And I'm also grateful to all of the families and friends out there who lent your support. These guys can't do this without the love and support of all of you. And I know it's not easy. It's not easy on children. It's not easy on spouses and partners. And any number of you rightly worry about what's going to happen to them as they leave here and break in, because you understand as they understand.
Or when you enter the academy.
The dangers, the challenges that are out there. But I also know, and troopers, you know, that all these folks believe in you and are here to support you. I also want to thank the staff at the Academy and the Massachusetts State Police for their direction, their guidance, all their help through
their inability to comply with safety guidelines during a, quote, training exercise.
These many, many months. Today's celebration, and it is a celebration, but two things can be true at once, and I understand that today's celebration carries a great weight. You lost a fellow recruit. Trooper Enrique Delgado Garcia answered the call. He took the assignment. He, alongside all of you, were drawn to serve. Trooper Delgado Garcia was and is a special person, determined to not only uphold the law, but to uplift his community.
And look what happened to him. You know, it's interesting because very similar language was used to describe Officer John O'Keefe. And look what happened to him. A good cop. Someone that the community could trust and lean on to do the right thing. Enrique also used to be a victim witness advocate. And what happened to him? What happened to him? What happened, Maura? What happened, Andrea? That's the question I would be asking. Not, oh, this is a day of celebration. This is the day to call out all your BS. And to face it front on, because you would gain so much more respect from your people, Maura, if you stepped up and you stood up for what's actually right. But again, these are the same baseless, useless, tone-deaf comments that we're used to getting from every kind of politician.
To members of Enrique's family, friends, and the Worcester community who are here today and watching, we continue to grieve with you and to pray with you.
You realize that some of his family members, now I don't know who of his family, but aside from the cousin that was interviewed, but you realize that his family and friends are literally outside protesting this exact ceremony right now. I'm not a religious person, but I feel like everyone can agree when I say, what the duck are your prayers gonna do for his family? They don't want your prayers. They want answers. They want justice. They want accountability. That's what they want.
And to the fellow troopers who lived and trained alongside Enrique, we honor your resilience and perseverance. You understand, and you understood, entering the academy, that you were going to be called upon in this work to be resilient, to persevere. And also, you understood the importance, or you were at least told the importance, of taking care of one another. I am
Again, except if your name is Enrique Delgado Garcia, but
profoundly sorry that you learned that lesson early on through this academy that you've just been through. But I just want you to know that I know, and your instructors know, and all at the Massachusetts State Police know and appreciate the help you gave to one another through trauma and grief to help get you to this day together as a class. And you have the opportunity now to draw on that strength, to draw on that bond, and to honor Enrique's memory in the best way possible by being the very best troopers that you can be.
This infuriates me. How in the world are you going to speak on behalf of what Enrique wanted? Are you his family? Are you his friends? I'm fairly certain Enrique would have preferred to have been part of this ceremony. Graduated with his classmates and fulfilled his lifelong dream of becoming a Massachusetts State Police officer. I'm fairly certain that's what he would have wanted. But again, I'm not a family or a friend, so I'm not going to speak on behalf of him. And neither should you.
As you leave here today, I want you to feel the love and gratitude of a commonwealth with a proud tradition of honoring, respecting, protecting, and supporting those who protect and serve. I also want you to feel the entire support of our administration as you go forward and help others who experience harm, as you help others who experience trauma. You'll bring safety to those in danger, relief to those in fear, and comfort to those who are grieving. You'll go out and engage the community. You will be, and you are, role models for young people.
Maura,
Build bonds of trust.
Maura,
You're amazing as a class.
Maura, stop lying. Who the heck is looking up at Chip Proctor as a role model? Who in the duck is looking at Sergeant Bukwacki as their role model? When I grow up, Mom, I want to solve the great rubber duck mystery, just like Sergeant Bukwacki. Why are you lying to them, girl? Why are you lying to them?
Alongside Enrique. We honor your resilience and perseverance.
There's those buzzwords again.
You understand, and you understood, entering the academy, that you were going to be called upon in this work to be resilient, to persevere. And also, you understood the importance, or you were at least told the importance of taking care of one another. I am profoundly sorry that you learned that lesson early on through this academy that you've just been through. But I just want you to know that I know, and your instructors know, and all at the Massachusetts State Police know and appreciate the help you gave to one another through trauma and grief to help get you to this day together as a class.
You're gonna thank the instructors and these recruits for the negligence and the fact that no one literally did anything to stop this fight, to help Enrique, because you realize that this whole situation was 100% preventable, right? There was absolutely no reason for him to go unconscious, get beaten literally to death at your training facility. Absolutely no reason. And again, we don't know. A fight that went way too far? Were there multiple people involved? Is there video camera footage? Allegedly there is. Somebody was filming it. What was the instructor doing? Who was the instructor at the time of this incident?
And you have the opportunity now to draw on that strength, to draw on that bond, and to honor Enrique's memory in the best way possible by being the very best troopers that you can be.
How disgusting is that comment? What you should be doing, and if they really did care about Enrique's life and his legacy, they would have been part of the 99 that dropped out. I'm sorry, and I know that's going to come off harsh because I know that there are probably some people in that group who want to speak up, who are literally afraid to, because we know what happens to police officers in Massachusetts. Doesn't matter if you're a local police officer or if you're a state trooper. We know what happens when you try to speak up and do the right thing. We 100% know. It's easier to stay silent and pretend like you don't know anything. But if you are really trying to uphold any sense of morality and empathy for his family and his friends, you would have been part of the 99 that dropped out. You would have. What does that say about all of you? And again, that's going to come off really harsh, but it's really hard for me to believe that there isn't one person in there who isn't capable of doing the right thing and speaking up. And why haven't they? You want to talk about a cult mentality? That's a cult. That is a cult.
As you leave here today, I want you to feel the love and gratitude of a commonwealth with a proud tradition of honoring, respecting, protecting, and supporting those who protect and serve. I also want you to feel the entire support of our administration as you go forward and help others who experience harm, as you help others who experience trauma. You'll bring safety to those in danger, relief to those in fear, and comfort to those who are grieving.
I think you got that backwards. Fear that they won't be in safety, because I don't know anybody in the state of Massachusetts right now who genuinely feels comfortable enough to contact law enforcement. And I know not every department in Massachusetts is corrupt. I know a couple of you have, aren't from, any of the Stoughton or Worcester or Canton, obviously. And I think Turtle Boy has spoken highly about his department. So I mean, I'm not gonna go and make a blanket statement and say every single department in Massachusetts is corrupt and disgusting, but it don't look good when a handful are, when more than one department, including your state police.
You'll go out and engage the community. You will be, and you are, role models for young people. And you'll build bonds of trust. You're amazing.
Don't lie to them, Maura.
As a class, I read a lot about you. Come from all walks of life, all experiences. That just makes us even stronger as a team. You speak 16 different languages. You'll be such assets to the job and to the work. The people you help will feel seen, and they'll feel heard by your outreach. The communities you serve will be better and more resilient because of what you do.
And there's that buzzword again. But I mean, safe. She's doing a really good job of trying to convince either herself or everybody in the room that Massachusetts and being a state trooper, you're gonna love it, guys. It's great. The community is so supportive of your hard work and effort and your resilience. They see that badge, they see that cap and that bald head, beautifully buffed, spick and span, rubber duck on the side, next to your firearm. They feel safe already.
And our state will be stronger because of your strength. And you, working alongside the men and women on this job, will show why the Massachusetts State Police is the best in the nation. You are.
Says who? Ask literally anybody in your state. Do a more on the street, like Billy on the street. Do a Maura Healey on the street and ask your people what they actually think about the performance of the state police. Ask them. I'm sure you'd be pleasantly surprised to hear what they think about the quality of your top state troopers, like Chip Proctor, who searches for nudes of women, not only just of female defendants, but allegedly of female victims as well, too. Anna Walsh, you are a disgrace an absolute disgrace. And I know you're not blind, girl. I know you ain't blind. You see what's going on. You see people like Brian from LTL, the Glare. You see them tagging you all the time on Twitter. Every time you post something. What happened to Enrique Delgado Garcia? Every single time. And the amount of replies you get piling on after that, echoing the same sentiment. You ain't blind. You're just dumb and ignorant. And the people deserve better than you. All of you. And you guys need like a serious like gut check. Like you need a whole revamp, remove everybody. Because it's just so much of a cesspool that there really is no like, there really is like, you cannot pull one good thing out of this disgusting cesspool that you've created. And it needs to stop. And you totally need a complete and utter glow up.
I am proud of you, and you are indispensable to our Commonwealth's well-being and to our Commonwealth's success. Troopers of the 90th recruit class of the Massachusetts State Police, you come from different places and different backgrounds. You've taken unique journeys to this moment, but you've come together to offer your strength and service to the people of Massachusetts. You are now the face of safety and security and service to the people of Massachusetts.
That is a terrifying thought. But next time you say something stupid like that, let a bitch swallow first.
We know today, and I know, having done the review, you are all so up to this task. No doubt you will have moments when you doubt yourself, maybe even wonder if this was the right decision.
Do you really think that was like a good line to inject? I thought you taught your intern better. Like, aren't you all day on like Twitter, like patrolling and seeing who's posting what's saying? Who would recommend that was the best thing to say in this particular moment? Whose idea was that to throw that line in there of, you might not even think this was the best decision? I mean, I'm fairly certain that Enrique's family and his friends think it was probably the worst decision Enrique could have probably ever make.
But you're going to move past all of that and look to and lean on and rely on each other, because you've got everything that it takes, and then some. For the challenges and the needs facing our state, our world, people today, you are the best, and you will bring the best to this job. Congratulations again on your graduation. Thank you for your commitment to serve. God bless you. God bless the Massachusetts State Police, and God bless the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
God save the Commonwealth. Bless your heart, Maura Healey.
Thank you, Governor Healey. Our next speaker is the Attorney General of Massachusetts, Andrea Joy Campbell.
Ceremonial parade rest.
I love the amount, the lackluster rather, of applause when Andrea Campbell takes the podium. Appropriate.
Hello and good afternoon.
I want to start with
I'm also noticing just now that her and Maura definitely coordinated their outfits. They both got that double-breasted suit going on. Almost the same amount of buttons. I mean, this is an excessive amount of buttons, girlfriend. I don't know who does your, who's your stylist, but
hearty and deep felt congratulations. Congratulations to our newest Massachusetts State Troopers.
it's pronounced conquaculations, actually, Andrea.
You have worked absolutely hard to get here today and gone through unimaginable trauma. And I am absolutely honored to be here with each and every one of you. It's also, of course, an honor and a privilege to be here not only with the governor, and thank you, Governor, for your leadership, but with my fellow elected officials and government partners. I want to welcome Colonel Noble to his new role, and I look forward to working in partnership with him.
And hopefully he'll let me touch his bald head.
I also want to extend gratitude to Colonel Mon for his leadership as interim colonel and the work we have accomplished together, and for his years of service to MSP and to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Family and beautiful loved ones in the audience, and I say beautiful because y'all look good. Thank you for supporting this new class of state troopers. I know none of us gets here by ourselves, and I hope our new class celebrates you as much as you're celebrating them. Thank you. Thank you also to the Academy instructors and staff for all you have done to prepare this class for the work ahead amid some very trying times. I want that staff and those instructors to know I, along with my team, appreciate them. As you graduates embark on a new chapter of tremendous responsibility, I hope today you will take time to be present and to reflect on all you've done to get here.
All you've done to get here. All you've done to get here. How about the amount of hazing that they allegedly have endured? How about that? And we're going to get into more hazing incidents involving the MSP after this.
You are indeed a remarkable and resilient class who come from all different backgrounds and walks of life. Many of you previously served in law enforcement.
Didn't Maura literally just say the exact same thing? Not only are they matching double-breasted suits with the 1980s shoulder pads here going on, but they also coordinated speeches. I wonder if they have the same Gen Z intern.
Or come from families with a law enforcement background. Several of you are veterans, and of course we continue to extend our gratitude for your service. And some of you speak 2 or more languages. In fact, there are 16 languages spoken amongst this graduating class. Thank you for making the choice, and it is a choice, to serve and protect our Commonwealth.
I mean, it is a choice. It is definitely a choice. I wonder if one of those languages is Bukwaki. Does anybody know?
Today we all also honor, celebrate, and mourn State Trooper Enrique Delgado Garcia. I continue to pray for his family and will do my part to support them, understanding that as you undergo investigations, they can take time. So I appreciate his family.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I mean, not if you're Chip Proctor, ace state trooper, right? He solved the John O'Keefe unaliving investigation. He cracked that code in less than 24 hours. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you doing. And I mean, if you want to think about it like that too, there were probably around the same amount of witnesses, like who actually witnessed Enrique being beaten to death. Because it was not a medical emergency, like they like to report that in the mainstream media. So why is it taking this investigation almost a month? But John O'Keefe's unaliving, open and shut, cut and dry, as they like to call it, in what, 16 hours? They knew it was Karen Reed. Ugh. Don't even get me started. I know we've talked a lot about the rubber ducks already. All the surveillance footage. I mean, that was like a very lengthy investigation, but thorough indeed. But I mean, in this instance, it seems like Enrique was participating in a training exercise, gets beaten to death in front of his classmates and his instructor. So you would think, since this wasn't an isolated incident, and this happened actually during a training exercise, that it'd be fairly quick and easy to figure out what the heck happened. But again, that's just my opinion, right? And I'm sure his family appreciates your prayers, Andrea.
And their patience.
Oh, and your
I
patience.
know it has not been easy. As I waited to go into the funeral home to extend my condolences to Enrique's family and friends and former colleagues in Worcester, I saw all of you, graduates, walking in formation, holding your heads high, in tears rolling down many of your faces. While this may not be the media narrative,
Oh, okay.
I know you too share in the grief and mourning that Enrique's family is feeling. I know you also feel the very same pain that his mother, his sisters, his father, his stepfather, and relatives are experiencing.
If that's so true, Andrea, how come nobody has come out and said anything? And if they have, I mean, we don't know about it. What the public is asking for, and what you are getting dogpiled on about on Twitter, because that's exactly what she's referencing. And I'm glad she is. I'm glad she's talking about it. I'm glad she's addressing the public. She is literally using this speech to also put out fires and save face. And she's terribly so, I might add. That's what she's using this speech for, is to save her own butt. How dare you say that? How dare you? When you very well know that there is an open investigation going on and this graduation ceremony should not be happening because, hey, what if any, all of these recruits, now state troopers, are witnesses to a crime. He's dead. Enrique Delgado Garcia is no longer with us. But you guys all get to enjoy your cups of grab ass after today's festivities, while Enrique's family is still seeking answers. Why did they hire their own attorney if they were confident and grateful for your hard work into this investigation and understood the trauma that these people, these recruits, these witnesses to a crime are experiencing because of his death? A death that could have 100% been prevented. How dare you? It's like, I don't know who's more disgusting out of the gruesome twosome.
And it's okay not to be okay, to cry and to share that grief. In vulnerability, there is absolutely healing, and I would add, tremendous strength. And I'd encourage you not to let anyone tell you otherwise. As we all sit here, let us remember that none of us are alone as we grapple with the tragic loss of a brilliant, handsome, charismatic, and dedicated 25-year-old who was Enrique. And may today not only be about mourning, let us also collectively celebrate your resilience and the beautiful life of Enrique. Let his life remind us that life is fleeting and that we only get one.
Who the duck said that was like, yeah, that's a great line to add in there. Life is fleeting and you only get one. Enrique shouldn't have died. Like, he shouldn't have been beaten to death. He just shouldn't have. So, like, no, his life, like, he wasn't in any imminent danger. Like, he's walking out on the street and he gets hit by a car. Or he's in a plane crash. The two are not the same. He was not in any imminent danger. Well, I mean, actually, he was, being an MSP recruit. What happens in the MSP stays in the MSP, right, Andrea? Disgusting.
So get to it. Get to living life fully and living it fully every day. As the newest members of the Massachusetts State Police, each of you is tasked with a difficult job that rarely is afforded the thanks you deserve. But know that you will absolutely have a real and tangible impact on your and our communities. As Attorney General, I have the incredible privilege of working with the state police, including the dedicated men and women who serve within my unit in my office. I have seen up close and personal the critical and necessary work law enforcement does every single day to stop the flow of drugs into our neighborhoods, to get illegal guns out of our communities, to break up human trafficking operations, and to respond to incidents of violence and so much more. It is important and life-saving work.
Especially those rubber duckies, I had to.
Every single day, members of law enforcement put their lives at risk in the line of duty, not because you need some external award or because we pay the highest salaries in the business.
Oh, girl, we know. We are very aware of how much not only your state police are getting paid, but how much your local police are getting paid. Which is, again, it's not a problem for most residents if they know that their law enforcement is going to be actually doing and earning up to the salary that they are getting. But have you met the Canton Police Audit Committee? Or are we just like not like gonna acknowledge that one at all? Right? What about all the fraud in your state and police fraud? clocking in overtime when they shouldn't be. Matthew Farwell, clocking in overtime, or clocking in when he's ABUSINGing Sandra Birchmore, R'ing her, and then unaliving her. What about that? What about that? What about the fact that Paul Gallagher was getting a cushy over $300K a year as a lieutenant? Way above the average salary. And again, I don't think your residents would have a problem paying those taxes and paying them these top salaries if they deserved it.
But you do it as an act of service to us, to our communities, and to the Commonwealth. You do it because you believe in a higher calling and purpose to protect. And every day, we rely on that sense of security and our ability to call 911 if something goes terribly wrong. Yet the sad truth is that sometimes the public narrative tends to only be about the negative. While I, along with everyone who is sitting up here on this stage, believes in accountability and transparency and improvement, because there's always room to be more excellent.
But you haven't shown, like, what does excellent mean to you? I think we have two conflicting definitions of what excellent means, Andrea. Because for me, excellent means the best. The best of the best. Top tier quality. People you can trust to do their job accordingly. Not slap felony witness intimidation charges on innocent tax-paying people for expressing their First Amendment rights. And yeah, we are going to focus on the negative because you have not given us anything positive to celebrate. We're watching innocent people get thrown into jail, get arrested. Officers, state troopers getting unalived by their own, and you turning a complete side eye, or, in the words of Alan Jackson, look the other way. So yeah, that's why we're focusing on the negative. That's why the whole world is laughing at you. Because it's a joke. It's a joke. All the police officers R'ing children. But yeah, you're doing a whole lot in the world of human trafficking and firearm violence. Notice how they like to pivot and bring up these buzzwordy topics to distract. It's all a distraction. And that's the same garbage that the mainstream media regurgitates over and over and over again. And this is why I implore you, aside from forming your own opinions, do not look to mainstream media to get the full story. Dig deeper. A lot of these court documents, now trials, most of them are being streamed. Freedom of Information Act. You have a right to access this information. You do. And to actually come up with your own decision about whether or not you want to even be a resident in Massachusetts anymore. And that's sad. That's sad.
We can have both. We can celebrate the work of law enforcement while also pushing for accountability. And it best is done if we do it collectively. We can celebrate the work you do while also pushing for transformative change.
What happened to Enrique Delgado Garcia? When you can answer that question, Andrea, and you can take the correct action steps to make sure that those who are responsible are held accountable and receive the utmost worst punishment that they deserve, then you can celebrate. Then that's something to celebrate.
While your service is often one that is taken for granted, it is incumbent upon all of us elected officials, those who have the power of the pen, radio, TV, and social media, to not only remember this dual role that you play and that we play, but to help others understand the significance of your sacrifice while we push to protect and at the same time always do better. It's on us to uplift and share the good and important work that you do every single day, and to hold each other accountable on transformative change.
Transformative change. That, again, more blanket, meaningless statements.
Please know that I will do just that as a representative of you.
What does that look like?
I celebrate you today, and y'all look good too. And I honor you as the role models that you are. Thank you in advance for serving.
Those bald heads look extra bright and shiny. I had a sneak peek under one of your hats earlier.
Serving the Commonwealth in this country. On behalf of myself, every single employee of the Attorney General's office, including our Boston office, our Worcester office, our Springfield office, and our New Bedford office, we congratulate you and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Congratulations, and absolutely enjoy today because you deserve it. Thank you.
And Enrique will not enjoy today. He will never get to enjoy today. His family will never get to enjoy watching their son achieve the biggest milestone, or one of the biggest milestones potentially of his life. How disgusting. Again, I don't know who's worse. What say you? They're both pretty awful and disgusting. But I mean, I think it was interesting how Maura clearly is separating herself. I mean, seemingly it seemed that way, that she can give a shout out to her homie Meatball. So I don't know. What say you? But I thought this was interesting. I wanted to bring up this other hazing report, which kind of led me down a little bit of a mini rabbit hole of what the hazing laws actually look like in Massachusetts. Because again, before all of this, I never really thought of hazing as something that could happen within police academies. And it's not to say that it doesn't, even within military training boot camps as well too, any kind of boot camp. So I'm not saying that it's not possible. I just never thought about it being something, being as, I don't want to even say popular, but being something as not uncommon. And again, it led me to look at what the Massachusetts Commonwealth state law says about what is considered hazing and who it applies to. And that was after reading this article. So, investigations launched. This was updated in 2005. 2005, right? Okay, and at the same academy, check this out. State police have launched an investigation into allegations of hazing at the agency's academy in New Braintree, and on Thursday announced an outside review of training procedures. That sounds awfully familiar. And then, again, just to call this out, this is from the Foster's Daily Democrat. I guess they're a local newspaper. An academy staff member was transferred pending the outcome of the probe. Colonel Thomas G. Robbins, superintendent of the state police, said Thursday they would not release the staff member's name. Yeah, shocker. Talk about transparency, right? But Lieutenant Sharon Costine said he's not a high-ranking official, because that makes it a whole lot better, right? And I'd be curious if we actually come to find out who this suspended staff member was, or transferred one. He's a trooper assigned there. He's just a staff personnel. Robbins announced that he's implemented an academy review committee because they just love putting together committees for these things, right, folks? Comprised of outside public safety professionals to review training procedures and practices. The panel's findings and any recommendations will be released upon completion. The only detail made public about the allegation was that it occurred at least 2 weeks ago when state police commanders became aware of it, Robbins said. The Boston Herald citing unidentified sources reporting the hazing rituals at the police academy including pushing recruits' heads into dirty toilets. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds an awful lot like hazing. The Herald, citing an unnamed source, said the probe resulted from a complaint by a female trooper. Oh, even better. Even better. The training cadets has come under scrutiny before. In 1988, a 25-year-old, another 25-year-old, Timothy Shepard of Pittsfield died 6 weeks after collapsing during rigorous training at a state police academy in Agawam. 15 other cadets from the same class were treated for kidney ailments and exhaustion. James M. Shannon, then Massachusetts Attorney General, said the evidence did not support criminal charges against officials at the academy. Well, then, who do you hold accountable? Academy rules prohibit officers from using unprofessional language or behavior. A state appeals court judge ruled in 1995, my birthday year, that the state's anti-hazing law doesn't apply to the academy. Now, again, this is from 2005, so I don't know if it has been since amended to apply to academies, but I feel like it should, right? If you were training to learn how to become something, right, such as a police officer or state trooper, wouldn't that make you a student? Right? Are we really getting like granular with the word choice that we use? But that's not the only one that I found. So this was another article, also by another local publication. I'm just trying to close out of all the crazy ad tabs. They drive me freaking nuts. Citing a lot of the same things. And I guess, I don't know if this is the same person or not. So this was written originally in September 2005, which is, again, the exact same timeline of the last article we read. And it was updated in 2010. So lieutenants, and I don't know if these are the same guys, if this is the same guy from the other article, but Lieutenant... excuse me, I choked on my own spit. Lieutenant Richard Lane was removed from his post on Friday. Lane, a 20-year veteran, was transferred to the Holden Barracks. Robbins also ordered the transfer of Trooper Paul Weinshank. So again, this could have been that other staff member that was referred to in the last article. And expanded an investigation into the facility that trains the state police. Robbins said he was aware of only one allegation of hazing, so an instructor who shoved the recruits' heads into a dirty toilet bowl. So there were 2 people that were dismissed, but no criminal charges, or transferred, rather. Because that's what they do there in the MSP, right? They send you on paid leave for a year, however long, several months. Take away a couple vacation days, give you a little tap on the butt. Don't do it again, kind of talk. A recruit who dropped out of the academy told the Herald he was ordered to wear a classmate's soiled underwear. Although Lane was not involved in the alleged incident, he should have known about it, Robbins said. Lieutenant Lane was the commander of the academy. He was in charge when this incident took place. When things like this happen, it needs to be truly vetted through the entire command staff. If it looks like a duck and it talks like a duck, quack, it's a duck. Eric Baldwin, a 5-year veteran, and the instructor accused, so now there's a new character coming in here. Accused of the toilet bowl incident was transferred to the Sturbridge Barracks on September 4th, State Police Lieutenant Sharon Costine said. Weinshank, a 12-year veteran, was transferred to the Grafton Barracks, so, they can't go with their buddies, right? None of the transfers was punitive, and the troopers in question could be returned to their former duties depending on the outcome of the investigation. Do we know the outcome? No. A replacement for Lane has not been yet named, and I would be curious if they did return, and if some of this behavior transferred over with them to these different barracks. Robbins expanded investigation includes having state police internal affairs investigators, because we know that the internal affairs investigations always pan out so fruitfully. Interview every one of the 174 remaining members of the class who started a rigorous military boot camp style 25-week program on June 27th. 56 had been questioned as of Monday. This year's class started with 256 recruits. 82 dropped out. That's dangerously close to the amount of recruits that dropped out of this RTT class. A 1/3 dropout rate per class of recruits is typical. But why? Why is that typical? That's not really good. That's not something to be, I guess, proud of. Robbins has already established an academy review committee made up of outside yada yada. We already read that. So now I want to go to the anti-hazing law. And you guys, again, let me know what you think. So, again, according to Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Section 17, hazing, organizing, or participating, hazing defined. This is how they define it. Whoever is a principal organizer or participant in the crime of hazing as defined herein shall be punished by a fine of not more than $3,000 or imprisonment in a house of correction for not more than 1 year, or both such fine and imprisonment. So in other words, hazing, which oftentimes leads to either serious injury or fatality, you just get a $3,000 fine or a year in prison. Like, what? What? You can get more. So our buddy Rich and every person who has been charged with witness intimidation. I mean, look at Aiden Carney. He's looking at what, like 120 years or something for witness intimidation? But for hazing, you only get a year. And it doesn't even say again, like, well, let's keep reading before I jump the gun. The term hazing, as used in this section and in sections 18 and 19, shall mean any conduct or method of initiation into any student organization, whether on public or private property, which willfully or recklessly endangers the physical or mental health of any student or other person. Such conduct shall include whipping, beating. Okay, so Enrique Delgado Garcia was beaten to death. Branding, forced calisthenics, exposure to the weather, forced consumption of any food, liquor, beverage, drug, or other substance, or any other brutal treatment or forced physical activity which is likely to adversely affect the physical health or safety of any such student or other person. So there you go, right? Or which subjects such student or other person to extreme mental stress, including extended deprivation of sleep or rest or extended isolation. And remember from our last video, that other former recruit that was kicked out for not passing a test and can't reapply, he claimed that he was also deprived of sleep. And I think at times, too, he was forced to sleep with the lights on all night. That's like psychological warfare. I don't even think they do that with, like, terrorists. Notwithstanding any other provisions of this section to the contrary, consent shall not be available as a defense to any prosecution under this action. So you cannot say Enrique Delgado Garcia willingly wanted to be beaten to death. So there you have it. I mean, criminal charges can be, it seems like they can be prosecuted, right? But are they going to? No, because it's the MSP, baby. That's not how we do it in Massachusetts. It's not. And it's disturbing, to say the least. Now, last thing I wanted to talk about was this article by this is an op-ed piece, so I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I thought it was interesting because it talks about some of the other training programs in different police academies in different states, but also in other countries as well too, and potential other ways for state police departments like the MSP can change how they conduct their training programs. And I think there's a lot of really good initiatives out there, especially in regards to defensive tactics training, right? So they actually, the MSP, I want to see where I can find it. They actually have a boxing team. I did not know this. And again, I just want to make the statement before I go further. I don't have a problem with boxing. I've actually considered taking up like kickboxing. I know that's not boxing, but kickboxing as a defensive tactic for me to protect myself. And I don't have a problem with that if it's practiced safely, if you have the right equipment, the right gear. But it's interesting because they have a Facebook page that states the only state police boxing team in the country, and it's still very much live and well. And interestingly enough, whose name is on this check here? Tamar Bucci. She was somebody who was unalived in a motor vehicle incident. And I covered this in my last video about the timing of how Enrique's death was announced, or lack of announcement until after his funeral. She was one of the state troopers, and I don't know her story. I don't know if she was a good witch or a bad witch, right? I don't know anything about Tamar Bucci, and I'm not saying she doesn't deserve the respect following her death, but, or to be memorialized in the same way. But I think it's interesting. This is still their cover photo, and she died, like, I think a couple of years ago. So this is it's in Sturbridge, which is interesting because that's where in that last article we were reading, one of those staff and personnel members, or I forget if it was the lieutenant or not the lieutenant, who was transferred to a different barracks. Was he in charge of running this? I don't know. Sturbridge Road. Just context clues, you know? But I mean, it gives you a really interesting insight. I mean, this is as soon as September 4th, right? Enrique died, what, 10 days later? 9-10 days later? This is insane. I mean, and you look at, like, even photos like this. I mean, I don't know. What say you? What say you? You know, if you're using boxing as a defensive tactic, training tactic, that's one thing. But if you're getting your recruits, putting them in the ring so that they can literally beat themselves to death, and you're doing it out of sport, that is not what they're trained to do. If they're trained boxers, that's a different story. Doing it for the charity event, fine. But as I understand it, and most people understand it, that's not what happened. So, I don't know if they still have it, but the Facebook page is still very much live, so I thought that was interesting. But Colorado Springs is adding a jiu-jitsu training regimen as a non-lethal defensive technique. New Jersey's State Police Academy ended their boxing program in 2021, just before the summer's recruit class entered. Just last week, they ordered a thorough restructuring of the entire training program at that State Police's Academy in the wake of a scathing report on the department's discrimination against women and minorities. Sounds oddly familiar to the MSP. The report produced evidence that prior of being discontinued, the boxing program was in fact weaponized against women and recruits of color. It also revealed that physical fitness tests were also used to discriminate against women, which again opens up a whole other can of worms that we are not going to get into in this video. But interesting, this investigation began when Geoff, because he was a New Jersey guy first, now he's in the MSP, who is about to take over as head of the Massachusetts State Police. So why he dip? If it began, were you just trying to jump ship? I don't know, Geoff. And then just looking at a couple of other states. So Des Moines, Chicago, Knoxville, are introducing yoga. Which again, I mean, some people might look and laugh at that, but I mean, yoga is very intense. And it actually is a really great way for you to not only connect with your body, but also your mind as well, too. And there's so many benefits to it, mental health-wise, and as well as physical fitness and strength. Overall, total body strength. I think that's a great way. I don't know. Is it more useful than boxing? I mean, as a defensive technique, no. Training technique, no. But I mean, I think something like jiu-jitsu or, you know, even taekwondo or something like that, that could definitely be something really great to incorporate. I mean, this is the 21st century, guys. Like, we're supposed to improve and become smarter. Not just continue to regurgitate things that you believe to have worked years and years ago, which did they really work all that well? I mean, we have troopers like Chip and Tully and Bukwacki and Fanning, all of which are under investigation. I'm sure Garino's going to be under investigation at some point as well, too. He's popping up in a lot of different court documents as of late. San Diego and New York are offering wellness training focused on dealing with trauma and stress and anger management. I mean, I think that's great. And they should have like therapy too available for these guys. 100%. But I think this is interesting about Scotland. So during this study, this guy Wexler, I guess, conducted in Scotland, when we were preparing the report, the recruits there stop and say hello and engage with you. They don't salute you. And in Scotland, probationary training lasts 2 years, including an extensive period of field training, which I think is so important. I mean, it's like, how many times have we even seen recently an inexperienced officer who's got a heavy hand, a little bit of a hothead, reach for his firearm and unnecessarily fire when it could have been potentially prevented? I'm not saying that's always the case, but there has to be better ways. And I think, or even take all these school mass incidences. I don't know if I can say the word, but you know what I mean. Where the police are literally afraid to enter the building with an active bang banger. I mean, there needs to be 25 weeks. 25 weeks. I mean, there's 4 weeks in a month, give or take. You divide that by, it's going to come out to like what, 5? Ooh. I don't know what happened. I think I was playing with the outlet and it just, I thought I blew a light bulb, but I didn't. So we're good. But I mean, 25 weeks, yeah, you break that up. That's what, 5 months? Nothing. That's nothing. How can you possibly be ready? Go from just being some 23, 24-year-old entering the academy, however old you have to be to enter, and you're given one of the greatest responsibilities to serve and protect people, and also make sure that you're protecting yourself and your partners. It's a big responsibility. It's a big ask. And I can't even imagine the overwhelm, the pressure, the stress that can take. So can we do better? I mean, I think we can. I definitely think we can. And I hope that they will in Massachusetts. So I thought that was interesting. But what say you? I mean, do you think that, I'm sure you do, that there is a big overhaul that needs to be done within the MSP? Or, and what does that look like? And do you think change is going to happen, or transformative change, as Andrea Campbell likes to say, right? The buzzwords, her favorite buzzwords. So, and do you think we're going to get justice for Enrique Delgado Garcia? I don't know. I hope. I always hope for the best. But with the MSP and the governor and the attorney general, I mean, I just don't. And this third-party investigator, David Meyer, I don't know. Every time I try to hope for the best, I'm just disappointed. So I'm not going to keep my expectations high. But we still fight. We still show up. We still say his name. And we still ask the question, what happened to Enrique Delgado Garcia? What happened? And how can we make sure that that crap doesn't happen again? And can you tell his family and his friends? Because they deserve to know at the very least. At the very least. That being said, if you want to stay up to date with the next Enrique Delgado Garcia update, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. And make sure you hit that like button, because that tells the YouTube algorithm that this is newsworthy news. And it is. It is. You know, even though this is a case that's been talked about among probably a lot of your favorite content creators, this is not being reported on, or at least in an honest and critical way, by the mainstream media. And they won't. They won't. They won't ever do that. Except for like Ted Daniel from Boston 25. But he is literally the only mainstream reporter that I would actually consider to be morally just and report the facts. So, but what say you? Let's keep fighting the fight. Let's get justice for Enrique. Let's get justice for Sandra. Let's get justice for Officer John O'Keefe. Let's get justice for Karen Reed. Let's get justice for Turtle Boy and so many more names who have been victims of the disgusting corruption that is the cesspool of the Massachusetts State Police and local police. With that being said, see you in the next one.